When I was growing up, I remember the first time I was awestruck by a game was when I played Final Fantasy VII. I hadn't been exposed to a game that was so narrative and cinematic looking. As a result of being a formative experience in my video game journey, I will always have a soft spot for turn-based RPG mechanics and have honed a skill of checking every corner of every location to make sure I don't miss anything cool. Sunday Gold caught my interest by blending several of these things that I enjoy in games: a rock-solid art direction, point-and-click adventure puzzle solving, and turn-based combat. The only thing that delayed my purchase was not being able to buy the soundtrack, but I did pick up Sunday Gold, and over the course of the game was thrilled to find that my fascination ran deeper than the surface. Sunday Gold is a point-and-click, turn-based adventure game set in a grim, dark London of the future. The stage is set with a cinematic showing the protagonists of the game, a trio of thieves looking for a payday, in the middle of a heist that goes sideways. One of the trio is separated from the group, and the remaining two, Frank and Sally, are forced to escape while the third is trapped in a last stand with the police. The game picks up 2 years later, where Frank, down on his luck, is meeting Sally about a gig that could turn their fortunes around. Meeting at the local pub, we're introduced to the contact for the job and third-party member, Gavin, an IT worker freshly fired from Hogan Industries who caught wind of some suspicious activity. Hogan Industries is a biotech megacorporation that participates in the Kings League, a competition dogfighting and racing circuit where various companies equip their canine combatants with cybernetic enhancements and genetic modifications. Gavin is hiring Frank and Sally for their particular set of skills: to break into Hogan Industries, steal incriminating data, and get out for an opportunity to make a pretty penny and damage the reputation of the illustrious Kenny Hogan in the process. Gameplay in Sunday Gold is centered around a point-and-click adventure style blended with turn-based and RPG elements. In order to investigate and interact with the environment, each character has a pool of action points, or AP, available to them and a specific skill that can be used to solve puzzles or gain access to areas. These skills, lockpicking, hacking, and feats of strength, each have their own AP cost and minigame associated with them. Failing the minigame relinquishes the action points for the attempt, but you're not locked out of trying again. Rather than moving freely around with control keys, you navigate areas by using the mouse to highlight and select points of interest. Action points can only be regained by ending your turn, and ending your turn raises the alert level of the area. A higher alert level increases the chances of having a random combat encounter when you start your next turn, and increases the difficulty of any random encounters over the course of the mission. Combat is built around a turn-based structure that also factors in your action points. Each skill or attack in combat has a set AP cost, and characters can regain AP by using the guard action. Each character has a health pool and a composure meter that drains as you encounter stressful situations or get specific debuffs. During combat, the turn order is displayed in the top left corner of the screen and changes in real time as the fight continues. Some actions take multiple turns to charge, and when the skill resolves is also shown in the turn order. Each enemy has a health bar and a counter representing their defense. As you attack enemies, their defense counter goes down, and if it reaches 0, the enemy is dazed for a turn, shown by the shield cracking and the enemy model often appearing to be dizzy. Enemies take additional damage until they regain their poise on their second turn after being dazed. You don't have any information about what each enemy plans to do unless they are charging an attack themselves. If an enemy charges an attack, you will be able to see who they are targeting, and using the guard action will mitigate all damage from the charged attack and reduce their defense counter. One important thing to note is that your AP does not recharge at the end of combat, so you must strategize not only around dealing with your enemies, but also when to end combat to ensure that your party has enough AP to investigate the surrounding area. The last value to manage is composure. As a character's composure meter drains, they start to have increasingly time-limited turns as the pressure gets to them. If the timer runs out, the character will panic, and a character-specific drawback event will occur, such as having reduced efficiency, applying debuffs to other party members, or spawning additional enemies. Each character has unique composure characteristics that add to that character's identity. For example, Gavin is not as experienced in criminal activity as Frank and Sally, and as a result becomes panicked more quickly and is more vulnerable to losing composure. Composure doesn't end up being a problem if you're able to act before the timer runs out, but not having time-limited turns is enough of an incentive to keep it high with items or skills that restore composure. As you defeat enemies and complete objectives, your characters all earn experience points and level up, increasing stats and unlocking new skills that are divided into tracks. You unlock new skills as you reach certain levels automatically, so skill points are spent solely on upgrading your unlocked skills. With these many interconnected systems, Sunday Gold achieves a depth that was unexpected from the surface and was completely welcome in my opinion. Managing which party member should take certain actions, and having random encounters only be a possibility when ending and starting a new turn, creates an engaging puzzle every turn around optimal AP expenditure. Removing random encounters from exploration was an effective method of mitigating feelings of encounters being cumbersome or annoying, and they were very infrequent in my playthrough. It's a very well thought out implementation in my opinion, because grouping together chances of encounters, recharging AP, and raising your alert level makes ending each turn an important decision, and that decision can reward players of different playstyles. If you want to avoid random encounters, you need to avoid taking unnecessary turns because raising your alert level also increases the chance of having an encounter. Conversely, if you want to have more random encounters to grind experience points and items, ending turns more often theoretically results in more combat encounters. Mechanically, Sunday Gold is clearly well designed and meticulously executed, and I never experienced a situation where I felt things could have been trimmed down. Thanks to excellent writing, Sunday Gold executes well on character identity and story events that keep the game interesting throughout each chapter. Chapters are paced very well, at least in my opinion, and I never encountered a situation where things felt like they were dragging and I wanted the chapters to end. There are also various documents spread across each chapter that adds to the world building and narrative being spun. Often these documents were paired with objectives, which avoids situations of spending time to solve a puzzle where your only reward is lore about the game world. The only thing I feel won't be universally enjoyed are the boss fights. There are a few boss fights throughout the game, all typically at the end of each chapter, and the boss fights are often much longer than random combat encounters by order of magnitude and difficulty. Often bosses will have 10 times the health of normal enemies and will take multiple actions on their turn in combat. This can lead to situations where you're left trying to stabilize your team for several turns, struggling to even attempt to attack the boss. This isn't to say that the combat ever feels unfair. It's often just a matter of strategizing and adapting to the scenarios being presented. While I personally enjoyed the boss fights, I can recognize that maneuvering around actions and chipping away at a boss's health bar for 10 minutes may not be everyone's idea of a good time. But overall, I was blown away by Sunday Gold. What appeared to just be a point-and-click adventure mixed with turn-based combat quickly became a charming experience that was full of surprises from beginning to end. While the majority of the game is centered around locating points of interest, solving environment puzzles, and engaging in classic turn-based RPG combat, Sunday Gold successfully avoids being one-dimensional with interesting mechanics, excellent art direction, and well-executed written storytelling. I'd happily say that if you're at all interested in Sunday Gold as a fan of the genres it takes inspiration from, you shouldn't hesitate to check it out. Thanks for watching, take care, and remember, keep having fun.